There are many persons, diagnosed and undiagnosed, living with mental illness and disorders in Belize. With the proper medication and proper care, many of those individuals can live normal lives and continue to play a vital role in their respective areas. That was the message sent out at the event today. The focus is on schizophrenia and the fact that as a mental illness, it cannot be self-diagnosed.
Many people suffer with mental health problems and people don't know because with treatment they're able to lead very normal lives. So you will never know who is schizophrenic. I will never tell you and you will never know. But when somebody has schizophrenia, it's hard for them to tell that they have schizophrenia because the nature of the disease is such that the perceptions, like what they think, hear, feel, taste, etc., is distorted, and so this reality does not mean the same to them. They exist in a reality that has meaning only for them, so they have no insight. They don't know that they're sick.
Because of that, many of the persons getting treatment in Belize have been referred by family members who notice that something is drastically wrong. According to Bennett, the condition does not appear overnight, but as a gradual degeneration, and there are signs.
There is a phase that we call the prodromal, so before the disease actually comes, and the person might be very withdrawn. They would want to lock themselves up in the room all day, probably just listening to music, being on a computer. They don't want to socialize with friends, they don't want to be with family, they don't want to go anywhere. They prefer to be on their own. These people might be hearing voices, so you would have to look out for, maybe they'll be mumbling to themselves, and then they will start to have very strange ideas, like the television was mentioning their name and talking about them, and things like that. Those are what we call delusions. So for young people though, before the disease happens, a family should look out for a period of total withdrawal and difficulty concentrating in school, so that might be falling grades. They might have difficulty communicating with people, expressing themselves.
The facility in which we all stood today wasn't the topic of attention, but it certainly caught ours. After all, persons suffering from mental illness often feel that there is nowhere to turn. But there is. There is no medication provided at the Welcome Resource Center. It is all about making those who enter its doors feel that there is a place they can call home for a time, a sanctuary where they can be understood.
So we provide this social aspect in terms of getting them a bath, a change of clothes, interacting with others, and also speak to them on a one-on-one basis. From time to time, we also do get people to come in and sit and talk with them. They are just like us, so we encourage the general public. If you want to have first-hand experience with a person that lives with schizophrenia, come visit the center, sit with them, talk with them. You'll realize that the only thing that separates them from us is the condition that they're going through.
There are a total of 394 persons registered at the center. 38 are females. While the focus of this year's theme is schizophrenia, the Welcome Center is open to anybody with any mental incapacity.
The mental illness varies from schizophrenia to bipolar disorder. Some of them are old age, some of them is just basically the drug issue. Some of them deported and they have nowhere to go. That in itself is a mental, put strain on their mental capacity, and they don't have anywhere to go. So they come here from time to time to take a shower, have a change of clothes, relax, being out of the elements. Like this week, there was a whole lot of rain, so we had a whole lot of cloud during Monday. And Friday on a whole is our recreation day. So if the general public out there want to come, you can come in on a Friday and do something with them, bring little tokens for them to personal items, of course, we ask for that they can use for themselves, and just come in and interact with our participants and let them feel like, you know what, we are somebody, we are a part of this society.
And while this is just one facility, there is care available countrywide. So if you see your brother exhibiting signs consistent with those spoken of today, this is what you should do.
Get your brother to the nearest mental health clinic. The government has a psychiatric clinic at every health center all over the country. In Belize City, we have one at Cleopatra White and one at Port Loyola Health Center. And if it's an emergency, let's say the person ends up with acute schizophrenia, that means that the person is in a state where their behavior is very unmanageable, they're very agitated. That person can access services at any of the emergency rooms, at any of the hospitals all over the country.
Today, Welcome Resource Center Administrator Joyce Ellis used the opportunity to ask for assistance in the form of clothing, particularly male clothing of any size. Belts and footwear would also be greatly appreciated. Mike Rodon for News 5.